Hello everyone, and welcome to another Tech Tuesday video by BitCube. I'm Justin, and today I'll be taking you guys through how we integrated ChatGPT into a tic-tac-toe game. So first off, let's start by actually just playing this game. So you can see here we just have our little app running. It's just very basic. It has a nice light and dark mode. But yeah, let's get started. So first off, I'm going to make a move. Let's place an X right here in the corner. As you can see, ChatGPT has now responded to us with an answer. Let's put another X here. And there, as you can see, ChatGPT has responded again, but it's just not very good at this game, as of yet. It takes a few tries for it to actually learn what to do. So let's reset this. I'll place a move here. It's given us a response. Let's place one here. Let's try and see if we can't make him win. There we go. Now it's starting to get the hang of it. Okay, let's do one last one. I'll try my best to win this time. Place a move there. As you can see, it's not very good at this game, but that doesn't really matter. It's learning. At some point in time, it'll probably wreck us all, but it's just not quite there yet. Okay, so let's go through how this was actually set up. So in order to actually integrate with the ChatGPT SDK, I'm using Flutter currently. Whatever framework of choice you guys are using, there's bound to be an SDK out there somewhere that integrates with the OpenAI services. Um, for Flutter, I'm currently using this nice little package called ChatGPT SDK. So it's a very basic thing. It just is a HTTP wrapper around ChatGPT's or OpenAI's APIs that just triggers all of the chat endpoints. So I'll show you what that means in a little bit. But yeah, so also, if you guys would actually like to see a video where we create this ChatGPT SDK ourselves, um, we'd love to do that. It's actually really easy. So just leave a comment down below, and that could be our next video. So yeah, let's get started. So in order to integrate this ChatGPT SDK, all I did was just create a little service here. I called it the OpenAI service. It just has a single function, and that's the one that I basically ask ChatGPT to give me an answer according to what the current board layout is. So you'll see here we just do our authentication. So we just create an authenticated instance of OpenAI. This just takes a token, which is your API token you create once you've signed in on the OpenAI platform. Then we just give it a nice little HTTP configuration. Just tell it if ChatGPT takes more than 5 seconds to answer us, just time out. It's not worth it to get a response then. It probably doesn't know what to do. I just added a debug log here. So that's so you can just see in the terminal everything you're currently doing as you're playing the game. After that, I just used the chat complete endpoint for the SDK. So I'll show you guys on the OpenAI site now what that actually is. So for this, you just pass it a message or a bunch of messages, a whole thread. What you can do here is basically send it a whole thread on how to play the game, and then make your moves. So if you do that, then it'll understand the whole concept of tic-tac-toe and how the moves work much better. But for our small little game, that's not really necessary. We just want ourselves to be defined as a user who's going to play a game of tic-tac-toe against ChatGPT. So I'll go through the prompt that I gave it in order to play the game in a little bit. But yeah, so after that, we basically just tell it what our max token usage would be. So it basically, the way its rate limits works is it charges you a token per character that you use. It's very inexpensive, so I'm never using more than 200 tokens per request that I send. So I just made my max 200, and then on the model section, we just add what model we want to use. In this case, I want to use the ChatGPT 3 model. You'll see uh, in this SDK, but it's really easy, again, if you make your own SDK, to swap out the models. It has a bunch of them. The new ChatGPT 4 models that came out, it has those. Also has a bunch of other non-chat related models, Ada, DaVinci, which can all be uh, different language models that you can integrate. But for us, we specifically want the ChatGPT 3 model. So after I've created this request, I just sent it to the on-chat completion endpoint on OpenAI, and then it literally just responds with a guess from ChatGPT on what it thinks your answer should be. We'll go and debug through this in a little bit, but let me just take you guys through what is actually happening here right now. I'm just going to copy this prompt as well. So right now, the way this setup is going on is here on OpenAI's platform. That session I created was basically just their authorization. So if you sign up to the OpenAI API platform, you can check out all of these references and how to, you know, uh, integrate OpenAI into your application with all the basic HTTP commands. So you'll see here our instance or session we created basically just sets a header now to all of our requests that just contains our API key. And then furthermore, the chat completion endpoint we want to hit is just this one. Their version 1 chat completions endpoint. And like all the stuff I showed you guys, it basically just goes and adds a model. So we added the ChatGPT 3 Turbo model. That's the one that gets placed here in the ID. We want to hit the chat completion endpoint. All of this stuff doesn't really matter right now. This is just the response we get back. So choices, that's an array of basically responses that it gives you. It can give you multiple responses. In our case, we're asking it specifically for one, so it just gives us one choice to use here in the array. Other than that, not really much to it. So again, like I said, if you guys want to see a video on how to actually make this SDK, we'd love to do it. It'll be quite fun actually. But yeah, let's move on. So right now, the model we're targeting is literally just the ChatGPT 3 model. So if you open up their website and you talk to ChatGPT, that's what we're simulating right now. So the way I set up my prompt to ask it to play the game is basically like this. I just ask it, let's play a game of TicTacToe. It's a very old model, so it has context of what TicTacToe is already. I don't want to reinvent the wheel by teaching it to him. Plus, that's not the point. We just want to see how good it is at doing it by itself. I have made a move already, so I'm asking it, it is currently your move as the character O. The current board setup is as follows. So then I just pass it a array of characters from 0 to 8, which just takes a hold of all the moves on the board. In this case, I just placed an X in this position. Then it says, as a response, I'm asking it to give me the same exact format back, which is this. Please return your answer in the following format, new board. So I'm just asking it to give it in the exact same format back, but just with its answer placed in. So here you can see, sure, I'd be happy to play, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives me back exactly the same format with its move made. So as you guys saw, it's not always very good at playing this game. Sometimes it cheats a lot as well. So in the next prompt, I said, okay, cool, let's continue the game. I've made my new move. What is going to be your move? So then it decided, okay, it's going to make two moves. It's going to place an O and an X on the board. So it's not always that smart, but it's fun to see how it reacts. So yeah, that's basically just the prompt I've chosen to go ahead and give it. There's probably a lot more prompts you can use in order to play this game. Maybe some prompts that are better suited um, for ChatGPT to actually understand. But in our case, this just worked. So yeah, next on is basically just how do we go ahead and manipulate this response now to get what we want. So let's go through that. So let me put a breakpoint here on where we get the response back from ChatGPT. I'm just going to hit the mark. Cool, I made an X in the middle. So now we asked ChatGPT. So let's go here. Let's first go to the choices, message. There we go. So as you can see, our prompt was, let's play a game with tic-tac-toe, blah, 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 with the current board setup, with an X smack dab in the middle. And then it decided, okay, since I'm asking it to straight up just give me the answer as a new board, it decided, okay, it's going to give me the answer in this format. So let's copy that. There we go. And just before we run through it, I have here the processing of this board. So let's put a breakpoint here. There we go. So as you can see, this is the format it gave the guess in. So what I'm doing now is just using some regex to basically take anything inside of these uh, brackets and then just extract that. So this regex checks if there are brackets in place. If there are not, something went wrong. It shouldn't continue any further with this game. So then I just go ahead and remove any white spaces from that string. So there you can see just no more white spaces. I remove any type of any type of brackets here. Next, so now you can see our format looks like this. Then I just remove the other side of the brackets. Format looks like this now. Any hashtags, now it looks like this. And then I just go ahead and remove any quote marks. So then we end up with this, which is literally the game board right now. Empty characters here for resembling empty spaces, and its move, my move, everything all together. So then I just split this into an array, which ends up looking like this. So as you can see, we have our newly found game board right here. And then once that is done, it just copies that game board into our view. So that's how the manipulation is going on. If you want to see what's actually going on with this regex command, um, let me just go through here. So it gives us a response back in the form of this. As you saw on the response, it can give it back in many multiple ways. We just need to sort for that. So I'm just checking, give me anything that has a bracket, and then everything to the side of it, because that's the response I'm expecting from ChatGPT the whole time. So then I just take whatever this is. So if it goes ahead and adds more than one, it doesn't really matter. I'm still grabbing anything I can inside of these brackets. If it, for some reason, goes ahead and makes a lot of text and then puts a bracket there, then I'm pretty broken up because then nothing's going to work. But yeah, hopefully it will never do that. It should never do that. If it does that, it's a bad model and I'm never going to use it again. But yeah, so that's the whole processing of the board there. I know I went through this pretty quick now, but the whole point of this video is not really to show you step by step how to do it. Just to show you that it is possible, and then it's actually there for you guys to play around with. So this whole project is going to be public on GitHub. It is in the link in the description currently. So if you want to clone it and play around with it, please feel free to do so. I think it'll be really fun. You guys can go ahead and implement your own prompt strategies, maybe even experiment with different models, see what the differences are. I've tried between ChatGPT 4 and 3. It doesn't really make a difference. I've even tried not using the chat completion, but actually the plain completions endpoint, not the uh, chat completions one, just the normal one. I've tried that with their text DaVinci models. Um, it gives the exact same results all across the board. So basically, in the end, just go for whichever one is the cheapest with its token usage. Um, just so, by the way, if you want to know what the whole pricing structure on all of this is, you can see here on the usage. I've used a lot of this model right now, and this is including all of my testing going prior, and I've only used 12 cents so far, um, and this is with like almost more than a week of playing with it. Um, so it's really inexpensive, and you can also do a lot of other cool stuff with the OpenAI integrations. You can do image generations, uh, photo generations, all those cool stuff. So again, if you guys want to see anything like that, please feel free to just leave a comment and ask for something for us to do in the next video. We'd be happy to do it. It's always cool to work with ChatGPT or OpenAI integrations. But yeah, so that's just our little tic-tac-toe game where you can play against ChatGPT. Let's just finish our game here for fun. Let's try and trick it a bit. Let's make, well, we can't force it to win, obviously. We're just so much better. But yeah, uh, anyways, like I said, the GitHub repo will be in the link in the description. Please feel free to clone it, play around with it, just experiment and have a fun time with it. But yeah, that's going to be our video for today. It was a bit of a quick one. Went through all of this really quick, but hopefully you guys just found some interest in there. And hopefully if you download the code, you'll find even more interest in there. So yeah, that'll be all for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow all our latest videos. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.